Mom's pension is stretched thin, and it's clear she's struggling. Those of us still working could really help her out. Seems like the right thing to do, wouldn't you agree? In the midst of inheritance talks after Dad's passing, Barney, the middle child, tries to reach out to his brother and sister-in-law with a sincere plea. But his words fall on deaf ears. Why should we hand over our hard-earned money just because she's living off her pension? They retort. Could it be that they suspect our mother-in-law of eyeing our assets? Suddenly, the other son and his wife cast a chilling glance my way, when you wouldn't expect to be directed at family. Enough already. Don't meddle in our lives, they snap. The pensioner should keep to herself, except for the odd wedding or funeral. Stop poking your nose into our business, they add. That's when Barney steps in, reprimanding them sharply. I, however, am looking down, my hands clenched into fists. They've wished for my husband's passing, grumbled about their inheritance, and dared to call me a leech. It seems I've failed somewhere as a parent. But I've had enough. With a calm I don't feel, I address the eldest son and his wife. I get the picture. Let's part ways, I say. My name's Catherine, and I'm on the cusp of 65. Retirement's been kind to my husband and me, we've always had each other's backs. Our 2 kids, Diane our eldest, and Barney, have their own families now. Our home's starting to show its age, hinting that it's time for some updates. We toyed with the idea of living with our eldest, Diane, and his wife Jennifer, post-renovation. So I called up John. Hey, John. We're thinking about making some home improvements soon. How would you feel about moving in with us afterward? John's hesitation crackled through the phone line. Let's think about this, he hedged. Jennifer might not be on board. But if you go ahead with the renovations, could you consider adding an extra room? Just in case? His voice held a note of forced casualness. And if you're flush with cash for these changes, we wouldn't mind a little help. I'll talk it over with Jennifer, he added, his tone noncommittal. In the background, I could faintly catch Jennifer's voice, her words laced with sarcasm about their living situation. We'll see, she said, a finality in her tone that closed the conversation. This wasn't new behavior from John and Jennifer. Their aloofness and air of superiority were baffling, creating a distance that was hard to bridge. Hanging up, I relayed the nuances of John's reluctance and Jennifer's disdain to my husband. He looked a touch wistful but sounded upbeat. We're not getting any younger. Let's remodel for ease of living, just for us. And so, our home transformed, evolving into a haven of accessibility. When the renovations were complete, we scheduled a meeting with both our sons and their wives. Barney and his wife Laura arrived first, always considerate. Laura handed me a thoughtful hostess gift and then slipped into the kitchen to help. Your cooking is amazing, mother-in-law, she praised. Thank you, dear, I replied, grateful for her presence. Mid-conversation, John and Jennifer walked in, making a beeline for the couch, demanding tea without a glance at the work we'd put into the house. We're guests here, Jennifer said, hurry up, please. I was about to serve the tea discreetly when Barney sidled up to John, a question in his eyes. Can't you manage that, John? Barney's voice was gentle, but firm. John's retort came sharp and swift, quiet down. Despite his harsh tone, we gave in. Barney and Laura had always shown us kindness, but John's approach was overbearing. Yet, we had called the siblings together for a pressing reason. As dinner unfolded, John's impatience was palpable. Dad, you've got us all here. Must be something big. Out with it, he urged. I caught my husband's eye, giving him a slight nod to proceed. The truth is, I've been diagnosed with lung cancer, he announced. Barney and Laura's faces registered shock, while John and his wife remained stoically indifferent. Dad, I wanted to talk about the cancer, Barney interjected, concern etched in his voice. What's the latest? I start hospital treatments next week, my husband revealed. The cancer has spread, and I've got about 6 months. The room went still, but John muttered, well, Dad's had a long life, as if discussing a stranger. Jennifer chimed in, age is just a number. My uncle went quickly with stomach cancer. Jennifer's flippant comment stung, and I couldn't hold back. Enough, I snapped. My husband, however, drew me close, speaking softly while looking earnestly at his children. Take care of your mother for me, he implored. Of course, Dad. Who else but me to look after Mom? Barney assured. Focus on yourself, too, Laura added supportively. Meanwhile, John and his wife were lost to their phones, disconnected from the gravity of the situation. As the evening came to a close, John and his wife left abruptly. I stepped out to say goodbye to Barney and Laura. Mom, it's tough, but we're here for you, Barney reassured. We'll help however we can, Laura promised. Grateful, I watched them leave. The following week, my husband chose hospice care and was admitted. I spent every possible moment there, witnessing his strength dwindle day by day. My son Barney and his wife Laura kindly offered to drive me to the hospice and help care for my husband. Despite my efforts, John and his wife remained absent, never once visiting. 5 months in, my husband's condition worsened. I called John, hinting it might be the end. They came, but with reluctance, offering no comfort, only viewing my husband with what seemed like distaste. We've shown up, isn't that enough? John said, eager to leave after just 10 minutes. As they left, I noticed Jennifer grabbing her coat. I followed them to the stairwell, overhearing their conversation as they descended, unaware of my presence. Dad's not got long now, John mused. What about the inheritance? Jennifer's eyes sparkled with anticipation. They speculated about our finances, dreaming of international trips and luxury goods, waiting for the end to claim their share. Hearing this, I was overcome with emotion. I couldn't bear to tell my husband. I retreated to the hospital room, and 2 weeks later, he passed. Barney and Laura's support was unwavering, helping me maintain composure through the funeral. After the service, with only family left, John broached the inheritance. What now about Dad's will? He pressed. Barney rebuked him, but John's stare was unflinching. Quiet, you're the younger brother, he said. I intervened, we'll talk next week about the inheritance. Please go home for today, I suggested, and with a polite smile, the elder couple left. The following week, John and Jennifer arrived beaming, while Barney and Laura's faces showed quiet dignity. I addressed them all. Your father left about $30,000. That's the sum. John's face registered shock. Are you sure it's just $30,000? Despite his disbelief, I pressed on, handing him an envelope. Everything's in here. Please, go over it. As they examined the documents, John and Jennifer's frustration was palpable. So we're getting just $7,500 each, John muttered, disbelief turning to annoyance. That's hardly anything. Barney, ever the peacemaker, pointed out, Mom still lives in the house, and the renovations were costly. If the inheritance is so little, the house should be part of it, John insisted. I remained calm. Your father renovated this house for our comfort in our old age. I intend to keep it. John glared at me, his eyes sharp with indignation. It's unfair for you to keep everything. John, Barney interjected, his voice calm but firm. Dad took care of Mom until the end. Maybe you don't understand that. Then, turning to me, Barney spoke with conviction. Mom, Laura and I have decided to decline our share. Please use it as you see fit. You deserve peace of mind. Laura nodded, her agreement silent but strong. Barney's insistence was clear, but John and Jennifer were unyielding. If they don't want their share, we'll take it, they said, seeing an opportunity. But Barney wouldn't have it. Mom needs that money, she's on a fixed pension, and it's hard for her. We should all be supporting her. John and Jennifer's response was cold and calculating. Why should we give up our money just because she's on a pension? They argued, insinuating that I had been after their money all along. Their looks were sharp, their words bitter. Stop being a parasite, they said, focus on the important events in life. Their dismissal was clear, they wanted no part in the daily struggles or support. I felt a deep sense of failure. Where had I gone wrong with John? My heart was heavy, but I remained composed. I understand, I said to them, it's time for us to part ways. Their reaction was almost gleeful. Great. No more dealing with her, they said, thinking they were freed from a burden. As they left, mocking Barney and Laura, they called back, take care of her. Good luck with the burden. Once they were gone, Barney and Laura came to me. They were always the ones who offered genuine care and support. John and Jennifer's behavior was hurtful, but it was clear where the warmth and love in our family resided, with Barney and Laura. Their presence was a comfort in the cold wake of John and Jennifer's departure. "Hey, Mom, how are you holding up?" Barney's voice was full of concern, his eyes meeting mine with empathy. "They're awful, I know. We're here for you," Laura added, her voice soft and reassuring. I had been looking down, the weight of the recent confrontations heavy on my heart. But their kindness gave me strength, and I looked up to meet their gaze. "We have something important to tell you," they said, a serious tone in Barney's voice. Months had passed, and I had settled into a quieter routine at home when John and Jennifer appeared at my doorstep, with Barney accompanying them. "What's going on?" I asked, puzzled by their presence. "We thought our ties were severed." "Hello, ma'am, we need to talk," John said, his tone urgent, a stark contrast to the heated argument he and Jennifer seemed to be having at the entrance. "Apologies, Mom," Barney interjected. The house came up in conversation, and I couldn't avoid talking about it. "Come in," I said, opening the door wider for them. Once inside, John and Jennifer didn't waste any time. "So, you're giving the house to Barney?" they demanded, their tone accusatory. "Why are you ignoring us, the elder couple?" I faced them calmly. "Barney has promised to take care of this house and preserve your father's memories. That's why I've decided to leave it to him." John looked at me, his face a mix of surprise and indignation. "But we've been supportive too," he protested. I turned to Barney and Laura, who looked apologetic but determined. "Thank you," I said, acknowledging their consistent support. Jennifer, unable to contain her frustration, blurted out, "So, you're handling all the housework alone, right?" I explained, "I've entrusted the house to someone who respects both your father's and my wishes. Also, there's now rental income." John and Jennifer were taken aback. "Rental income?" John echoed, confusion in his voice. I nodded, "Yes. Your grandfather owned several properties, and after his passing last year, the inheritance was sorted out. I now receive rental income from those properties." The revelation seemed to hit John and Jennifer hard. It wasn't just about the house or the small inheritance from their father, there was more at stake, and they had been oblivious to it, caught up in their own world. Meanwhile, Barney and Laura had been there, not for the potential of inheritance, but for the simple, profound reason of family and love. The shock on John and Jennifer's faces was palpable as they absorbed the information about the rental income. "We had no idea," they stammered, clearly caught off guard. When I mentioned the substantial annual income, their demeanor shifted rapidly from surprise to avarice. "Let's discuss that rental income," John said, a hint of desperation in his voice. I stood firm. Why should I share my assets with those who have called me a parasite and suggested distancing themselves from me? Their earlier words and actions were now coming back to haunt them. John and Jennifer scrambled for words, trying to recover from their blunder. I gave them a look that left no room for argument and pointed towards the door. "This conversation is over. It's time for you to leave." John, however, was not ready to give up. He approached me, pleading, "Mom, please listen." But his touch on my arm was unwelcome, and I fixed him with a cold stare. "Don't call me Mom in this context." Jennifer then chimed in, begging for understanding about their financial plight. John admitted to their reckless spending, assuming they would inherit a substantial sum from their father. I was incredulous at their short-sightedness and lack of foresight. "You've made your bed, now you must lie in it," I told them, shaking off John's hand. Their poor choices were not my responsibility to rectify. John accused me of being heartless, but I had already made my decision. My assets would go to Barney, the son who had shown me love and support. I would not reward those who had severed their ties with me, who had shown no respect or care when it mattered most. John and Jennifer had made their position clear, and now they had to live with the consequences. Barney's firm stance was a protective measure, ensuring that any further contact that could bring distress or discomfort to you was cut off. His actions were not just about setting boundaries but also about safeguarding the peace and stability you deserved. As he escorted the couple out, his support for you was unwavering, and his gesture of rubbing your back was a silent reassurance of his constant presence and care. The unfortunate financial downfall of John and Jennifer serves as a poignant reminder of the consequences of their actions and attitudes. Their nights filled with arguments were a stark contrast to the value of family unity and support they had overlooked. With the house now in Barney's hands, you made a practical and forward-thinking decision to move into an apartment that provides caregiving services, ensuring your comfort and well-being. This move also symbolizes a new chapter, one where you can live independently while still having the support of Barney and his family. Their frequent visits and the arrival of a new grandchild have undoubtedly brought joy and a sense of continuity to your life. It's in these moments with Barney's growing family that the true wealth of life is found, not in the material inheritance that John and Jennifer fixated on, but in the love, connection, and shared experiences that you now cherish with Barney and his family. These are the treasures that truly enrich life, and it's heartwarming to know that you are embracing and nurturing these relationships.